Welcome back to Hardcore Miniatures. I am Core, and in the previous video, I painted the Salamander Space Marine, bringing their iconic green armor to life. But if you really want to capture the essence of the Sons of Vulcan, there is one critical detail left: their unique obsidian skin. So, today, we're tackling the distinctive skin tone of the Salamanders, diving into both the painting process and a little bit of lore that will explain why do they have such a particular and unique feature. Because while most Space Marine chapters reflect a broad range of ethnic backgrounds, some chapters like the Salamanders have gene-seed quirks that makes them stand out. So let's get started. Space Marines are recruited from human populations across the Imperium, and for most chapters, this results in a diverse mix of ethnicities. The gene-seed process, after all, doesn't erase these traits and simply enhances a warrior's strengths, endurance, and abilities, while keeping their original human features largely intact. For example, chapters like the Ultramarine or Imperial Fist recruit from various worlds, meaning their warriors reflect the diversity of the Imperium populations. You'll see a mix of skin tone, facial structures, and characteristics that remain tied to their human origins. However, not all chapters follow this pattern. The gene seed of some, due to mutations or biological quirks, dramatically affects their appearance, sometimes in extreme ways. The Salamander's gene seed, which is derived from their primarch Vulcan, alters their physiology, giving them an obsidian black skin and fiery red eyes. But this isn't a simple pigmentation shift. It is caused by the interaction of their gene seed with the genetic stock of Nocturne's natives, who have evolved to develop an incredible resistance to extreme radiations. Incredible what being born on a volcanic death world racked by constant eruptions and furnace-like temperatures does to you after thousands of years of evolution. Alright, enough with the lore and let's paint. I am starting with a solid black base layer using Abaddon Black, ensuring a deep foundation that sets the tone. From there, I will gradually build the rich shadows with a mix of Abaddon Black, Violet Red, and Black Red to add depth. Because even though Salamanders have pitch black skin, it doesn't mean it should look flat. And using this rich tone will make the skin much more interesting. To establish contrast, I mixed the same violet red and black red to some Vairo Diamond Grey and applied it loosely to raise areas like the cheekbones, brow, and top of the head. And for models without a respirator, this would of course include the nose bridge, the chin, and the jawline. This undertone starts to bring out the various volumes in the sculpting while remaining close to the rich shadows. Next, I am going to push the highlights further. For this, I added ivory to the previous mix to build subtle reflective effects, giving the skin a volcanic mineral-like sheen. It is very important to not go too bright at this stage, as we want contrast but also build a smooth transition and keep the intimidating, inhuman presence of a salamander warrior. To refine transitions between shadows and highlights, I am working with two different mixes applied as a glaze. One with Abaddon Black and the other with Diamond Grey mixed to the same violet and black red. To get even greater definition, I used a mix of Diamond Grey and Ivory to push those raised areas with a few thin highlights. This is starting to look interesting, but as for the shadows, I wanted to add a little bit of color to where the skin is brighter. For this, I went for Vairo Azure Blue, painting subtle strokes with a very diluted consistency. The idea is to slightly tint the bright grey underneath rather than painting blue highlights. We want it to look dramatic, but definitely not goofy. Same for the top of the head, but with maximum transparency, glazing the azure blue to naturally blend with the grey undertone. I hope that you are enjoying this tutorial, and if you did, I encourage you to give it a like and comment on this video. Not just because I love to exchange with you all and get to know you better, but also because it is supporting the channel by telling the algorithm that this content might be worthy of showing it to more people in our community. Thank you very much for your attention, and let's get back to painting. Because I'm a real sucker for smooth transitions, I am going back to my mix of Abaddon Black, Violet Red, and Black Red, glazing it to further refine the transitions between dark and brighter areas. This will take as much time as you are willing to dedicate to it. And you have to take into account that I'm recording this at extreme close-up, and whatever might seem a little rough here will look absolutely clean at a normal zoom level. Nobody in their right mind will inspect your miniatures with a magnifying lens after all. Or will they? Now, salamanders are known for their fiery red eyes, so we can't overlook this detail. I started with a base of ivory to establish a bright foundation that will make the following layers a lot more intense. Next, I applied a thin layer of deep red. And yes, painting eyes on camera is still absurdly difficult because of how awkward it is to keep the miniature in frame and focus. Next, I layered up to a mix of deep red and deep yellow toward the center. And to properly frame those eyes, I used azure blue to paint the eyelids. Finally, Canoptech alloy to paint the two surgical studs protruding on his forehead. This Salamander Space Marine head is now complete, so let's enjoy it assembled to his body in a proper reveal. And with this, I will see you in the next video. Have a great time, take care, and bye-bye.